The following is a commercial program paid for by Heritage Agriculture. The opinions and views expressed belong to its sponsors and are not those of Nexstar Broadcasting, Inc., this station, or their affiliates or employees.
Welcome to Farm Talk, where we look at issues that affect agriculture and ranching here in the natural state. Brought to you by Heritage Agriculture. Here is your host, Mike Linton.
Welcome to Arkansas Farm Talk. I'm your host, Mike Linton. My guest today is Mr. Mike Sullivan. Mike is our state conservationist with NRCS. Mike, welcome to Arkansas Farm Talk.
Good to be here.
Yeah. Mike, tell us a little bit about your organization and what NRCS does.
Okay. NRCS is the Natural Resources Conservation Service. We're a federal agency within the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And basically, we help people help the land. We work with agricultural producers, providing advice and solutions to help them maintain or improve their production while also protecting natural resources. What I really like about it is all of the work we do is at the request of agriculture producers. So we really are here to help you.
Yeah.
Our services cover the whole state across all land uses with cropland, forest land, pasture land, as well as confined feeding operations. And then in addition to our technical assistance, we have programs where there's money available to help with the cost of installing the conservation practices.
Okay. The term conservation, Mike, can mean a lot of different things to different people. How does your agency define that?
Yeah, I think the word conservation is used differently and has been used differently for several years by different groups and organizations. For us, we really look at the strict definition of the word, and that is to use resources wisely. And so a producer ought to have the opportunity to fully utilize their land, to produce food and fiber, to make a profit, and then at the same time protect their critical resources like their soil and water so they can continue to be profitable for the long term. So that's really kind of how we look at the word conservation.
Yeah, I like that. Mike, if a producer is interested in conservation, how do they get started working with NRCS?
Well,
like myself.
I think the first step is to make a call.
Okay, to your local office.
Again, just to request help or assistance. And so to make a call to our local district conservationist or field staff, whoever may be there locally, let them know that you're interested in looking at how you can improve your operation and if there's anything conservation oriented that would help you out. Based on that phone call, they should set an appointment with you that could include a field investigation to your land to take a look at your operation. It could be something that's remote or even an in-office visit if we can arrange for that in these days and times. But after that, they will look at your concerns, your problems. They'll help you inventory your resources and put together what's called a conservation plan. That conservation plan will flesh out these problems in a little more detail, look at options for solving them, and then document your decisions in managing your operation. So that's the first step, is to get that conservation plan together. It then becomes the basis for participating in our other conservation programs where the money's available, where you can fix the problems or even move to higher levels of conservation.
So that's going to cover, of course, row crop farms, ranches. What about hunting properties? Hunting properties are real big in Arkansas.
Yeah, we cover all agricultural land uses. I think what we find is much on the hunting properties, in many cases, they're looking at maintaining the hunting more so than producing ag products. And so in some cases, it might have been cropland that was not being able to be produced productively every year because of flooding. And so we have a program, for example, where you could enter into an easement and restore the wetland values, and it becomes great duck hunting land.
Sure. Okay, we kind of touched on that. Give us some examples of the types of practices or plans that you might help producers with.
We have many different conservation practices. I think there's some 170
Wow.
that address all of our different resource concerns. So it could be soil concern, water, air, plants, animals, or even energy that we're addressing with these practices. And they've been tried and tested, and as long as they are installed with the proper designs and according to our standards and specifications, we're very confident that they will help to address your problems. On irrigated cropland, for example, you might want to capture rainfall that comes in the wintertime and use it when your crop needs it in the summertime. So
Okay.
that's one of the practices in irrigation storage
Like
reservoir.
a reservoir, or
Yeah.
building a reservoir or something like that?
Or maybe a tailwater pit, which is just an enlarged ditch.
Yeah, tailwater recovery system.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Where you capture and recover sediment, nutrients, and runoff, and then recycle and reuse it for
Okay.
irrigation purposes. Or it could be as simple as irrigation water management, where you're just looking at better timing of when to apply the water, how to apply the water, so you can reduce your total needs and reduce your pumping costs. On pasture lands, it might be establishing a rotational grazing system and putting your field into smaller fields.
Like cross fencing and things like
Cross
that?
fencing, so you can move your cattle around, rest the grass, be more productive in terms of your grass production, and then also have watering facilities in each one of those paddocks.
Okay. Like if you need to put a well in or something like that?
If you need to put a well in to have your water source, and then you need to distribute the source to make sure the cattle have it wherever they need it.
Yeah. Well, personally, we have a lot of ponds, but then we fight, you know, the cows are in the ponds, and then the quality of the water, and then, you know, also they're getting stuck sometimes, certain times of the year, and, you know, we fight that. So what would you do? Just fence those areas off, and if you put a well down and had a watering system, I guess.
Right. It's kind of funny you mentioned that. Historically, years back, probably the most popular practice was a pond, and we
Yeah.
were known as the pond builders.
Okay.
And so people want to have those ponds primarily for livestock water. There's
Yes.
still a great use for that, but also we're finding as you get into more intense systems, you can either use those ponds or wells and distribute the water and have little tanks where there's enough water in multiple locations.
Sure, yeah. Hey, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Since 1921, we've been supporting rice farmers across America. These are the farmers who own our co-op, who prosper together, striving to do more for their communities, going deeper, working smarter, growing stronger. That's how we make good even better. That good comes from the time and toil they're passing down of a way of life that supports not only their families, but families all over the world, so the world can be served with great food. Riceland. United, we grow.
In good times and hard times, Arkansas Farm Bureau is there. We're always working, so our state's farmers and ranchers can continue to put food on store shelves and on your family's dinner table. We support training for medical care in rural communities and the industries that provide materials needed for critical supplies. Arkansas Farm Bureau, working every day to keep Arkansas strong.
The Case IH sales event is the best time to buy. Get 0% financing on all new Farmall, Vestrum, Maxim, and Puma tractors, plus hay tools. Come in today. The sales event ends July 31st.
Keeping farms running, construction moving, and towns maintained is essential. That's why Kubota is working to keep you working. Right now, get 0% financing and no payments for 90 days. Offer expires May 31st. Visit KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer. Kubota. Together, we do more.
No matter how you buy ag equipment, AgDirect can finance it. We're powered by Farm Credit, people who know agriculture. So along with options to purchase, lease, or refinance, AgDirect offers attractive rates, helpful service, and ag-friendly terms. When you compare the price of iron, be sure to compare your cost of money. Ask for AgDirect, built for agriculture, powered by Farm Credit.
Make sure you're prepared for the busy planting season ahead with Great Plains planters and drills available at Heritage Agriculture. The Great Plains lineup of planters and drills, including the 3P4025AH twin row and YP825 planters, are accurate, dependable planting solutions, ready to help you kick off your planting season. Heritage Agriculture, the 7 locations to serve you. We're customer focused, customer driven, and we want your business.
Since 1921, we've been supporting rice farmers across America. These are the farmers who own our co-op, who prosper together, striving to do more for their communities, going deeper, working smarter, growing stronger. That's how we make good even better. That good comes from the time and toil they're passing down of a way of life that supports not only their families, but families all over the world, so the world can be served with great food. Riceland. United, we grow.
Welcome back to Arkansas Farm Talk. I'm with Mike Sullivan with NRCS. Mike, we were talking about examples and practices or plans that you might could help producers with, and I know that you can help some of the timber guys also.
Right. There's a lot of opportunity on timberlands here in Arkansas. We have a lot of forest land, and for many forest landowners, just thinning their timber is a really good practice that can improve their production. We also work with prescribed burns that can benefit wildlife as well.
Okay. Some of the practices you've described, they probably going to have a pretty good price tag on them. Do you have any programs that can help with the expense of that?
We do. We have several different programs. And so in addition to our technical assistance, once you have that good conservation plan, you can compete for these programs. What that means is after the planning, you can submit an application, and then once your application is in, we'll have to look and make sure that you're eligible and meet the requirements of whatever program it is that you're applying for. Once you become eligible, then the competition begins and your application will be ranked and scored against others. And then once you're selected, then you can move to implementation, and you would enter into a contract with us to implement those practices. So it sounds pretty involved, and it is. It takes some time. There is some red tape,
Sure.
but the people that stick with it and are patient find it to be very rewarding, in that most of their costs are covered for implementing many practices, and they really get to improve their operations.
I could see great value in producers like myself or anybody else to reach out to the local office and just say, hey, can I meet with you, or would you come out, look at my setup, look at my land, and tell me, let me show you some ideas, some things that I really need to do, or help me make some decisions on things to do, and then maybe try to put a plan in place to get there.
That's exactly right, and that's what we really like to do.
Yeah.
That's in our wheelhouse, and so we would look forward to hearing from you with that very question.
Yeah. Your services include an array of technical and financial assistance. How do we carry that out?
Well, like I was saying, we work all across the state, and so we do have offices in most counties. We have personnel in 62 of the 75 counties, and then we work in all of the counties. Our local district conservationists and technicians that are in the local offices are trained to provide service to help you out, but then we have technical support to help them on the more complicated projects as well. So we have engineers or agronomists or biologists that will come in and provide additional assistance when needed. So our objective is to have the right people at the right time to help you with the assistance that you need. The job is really bigger than what we can do with the employees that we have, and so we partner with many others as well. For many years, in fact, back into the 30s when we were first created, one thing really unique about us is that we provide federal assistance, but through local entities. There are local conservation districts in every county that have farmers that are the board members that set the local priorities on much of the work that we do.
Okay.
They also have staff that work in the offices with us, and so we seamlessly work together to provide the assistance. And then we partner with many other federal, state, local, and non-government organizations that are like-minded in providing conservation support and assistance.
Yeah, I could see where it would really help just to pick up the phone and reach out. You know, phone call doesn't cost anybody anything. A little bit of time, maybe tell somebody, hey, here's what I've got on my mind, or here's some issues that I'm facing, or I'm looking for some help trying to put a plan together. I could see where that could really help.
That's right. And you know, times have changed. People use electronic means of communication a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
more.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
in the middle of COVID environment, but that's our best way to communicate, is to figure out how to connect, have a conversation, determine how we can best support and meet your needs.
Sure. What are some of the reasons that producers are choosing to work with you and implement some of these practices?
I think it starts with trust. Our field personnel work really hard to establish good relationships with the producers that are interested in help. And that's their role, is to provide that information to help producers make good decisions. And beyond that, the information that is shared with us and what goes into these conservation plans is confidential.
Okay.
And so it's not shared with any regulatory entities or anything like that. It's just in a trust relationship with that producer. So that's one thing. The other thing is results. These conservation practices I'm talking about, we're seeing significant results on the ground. So in irrigation, for example, just simply using computerized hole selection for polypipe can result in a 25% reduction in the amount of irrigation water you have to apply. So significantly reduce your cost. On the pasture land work, you can significantly delay the time in which you need to feed hay by having improved grass production, again reducing input costs. And then for those that are using cover crops and are into the soil health, we're finding that they're able to reduce their fertilizer inputs by 20 to 40%.
Wow.
Again, reducing costs, helping to maintain or increase profitability.
Wow. Well, you know, most farmers and ranchers, they love raising crops, they love raising animals, but it's really all about the love of the land. They love the land. And, you know, it's all about the land at the end of the day. You know,
That's right.
I mean, I'm a cattle rancher, but I don't raise, I grow grass.
Yeah.
Grass is what feeds the cattle, you know?
And I think to that point, that's the whole thing is the love of the land. I mean,
Yes.
our farmers are our best environmentalists.
The
They are our
greatest in
best,
the world.
the best land stewards that we have.
Yes.
And that's all we're trying to do, is just help them have the information to make the decisions they need to make.
Yeah. Is there a significant interest in conservation practices and programs from Arkansas producers? I mean, do you have a lot of interaction with Arkansas producers?
We do, and we have a large demand and a growing demand. It has continued to grow over the last 5 years plus. Every year we spend more than $100 million
Wow.
that producers get for applying conservation practices, and that does not meet all of the needs or all of the applications.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to ask you to be on the show today, is because I just wanted to, you know, bring you on, have a show, so everyone could understand and realize who to reach out to. How do I get a hold of these people? Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Arkansas Farm Talk.
No matter how you buy ag equipment, AgDirect can finance it. We're powered by Farm Credit, people who know agriculture. So along with options to purchase, lease, or refinance, AgDirect offers attractive rates, helpful service, and ag-friendly terms. When you compare the price of iron, be sure to compare your cost of money. Ask for AgDirect, built for agriculture, powered by Farm Credit.
There's no better time than now to get a great deal on the Kubota BX tractor. Mow, haul, dig, lift. With the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. for over 10 years, you own the land. Now, make it yours. Get the Kubota BX 2380 for payments as low as $99 a month now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
During these busy and challenging times, Krone wants you to know we've got your back. So we're offering you 90 days of deferred payments on select models of Krone mowers, tedders, rakes, and round balers. That's right, make no payments for 90 days. And you can choose from 0% financing options to get the new Krone equipment you need. Check out these low monthly payment examples on select models of new Krone equipment.
A lot of land comes with a lot of work. The new Kubota MX series has a lot to offer, including the versatility to mow, move hay bales, grade roads, and clear brush and snow. An optional spacious cab to keep you comfortable in any conditions. A front-end loader with excellent loader lift capacity, hydrostatic or gear transmission options, and affordably priced. Visit your local Kubota dealer today.
Case IH sales event is the best time to buy. Get 0% financing on all new Farmall, Vestrum, Maxim, and Puma tractors, plus hay tools. Come in today. The sales event ends July 31st.
Since 1921, we've been supporting rice farmers across America. These are the farmers who own our co-op, who prosper together, striving to do more for their communities, going deeper, working smarter, growing stronger. That's how we make good even better. That good comes from the time and toil they're passing down of a way of life that supports not only their families, but families all over the world. So the world can be served with great food. Riceland. United, we grow.
Make sure you're prepared for the busy planting season ahead with Great Plains planters and drills available at Heritage Agriculture. The Great Plains lineup of planters and drills, including the 3P4025AH twin row and YP825 planters, are accurate, dependable planting solutions, ready to help you kick off your planting season. Heritage Agriculture, the 7 locations to serve you. We're customer focused, customer driven, and we want your business.
Welcome back to Arkansas Farm Talk. I'm with Mr. Mike Sullivan, NRCS. Mike, we were talking about Arkansas producers and the programs and practices and the interest that you have. Let's get back on that.
Yeah, we've had more and more interest and participation in conservation programs. If you just look at the entire state of Arkansas, we have over 30 million acres. 90+% of that is privately owned. And currently, over 3 million acres is currently enrolled in some sort of a conservation contract. So at any point in time right now, 10% of the land is actively implementing some sort of conservation practice or measure. I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So when you say it's in a contract, so it has to, you sign a contract, and if you commit to doing something, then it has to be in there for a certain period of time.
Right, and so depending on the program, it might be for an individual practice like a fence, or it might be something like a reservoir.
I got a bunch of fencing to do.
Yeah, and those can be very beneficial as well. Or it could be a program where your whole land, a particular area of your land, you're doing some additional work or additional enhancement over several fields to achieve a certain conservation objective.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, and we were talking about just a little bit, cover crops, and then we were talking about planting crops for grazing to slow down on the hay. I know that we do that every year. We'll go in late September, October, and we'll plant some crops, some wheat or some ryegrass, something like that, to try to help with our grazing, and then we'll turn around and we'll bale it. We'll wrap it, and wrap it in late April or May. So is there a program out there that could help with something like that?
I think we have a a basic working lands program called the Environmental Quality Incentive Program. And so that's one if you're just looking at basic resource concerns and needs, and in things like grass production, there would be a fit there.
And fencing and
fencing and ponds,
tailwater
and the
recovery systems,
all of those things. Like I said,
Yeah.
there's like 170 different practices.
Wow.
And so that is our working lands program that helps to fix the problems to get you where you want to go. And then there's some of these other programs that can help take it to higher levels.
Well, what we've got to do is we've got to get our Arkansas farmers and ranchers to make the phone call, to reach out, and, you know, like me personally, ask for help if somebody wants to come out and look at my operation and help me make some decisions.
That's right. So again, it starts with that first phone call, and probably wouldn't hurt if you tell them I said to give you a
I'm
call.
going to say Mike said call.
That's exactly right. You can say that, and I think our folks would be very responsive anyway, but that wouldn't hurt to put in a plug.
Okay. Quickly, let's talk about COVID-19. I mean, how's it affected your staff and your workers? I mean, from the producer standpoint, I mean, I know what's going on there. In the farming and the ranching world, our guys get up and go to work every day. Of course, we live in rural America. They get up and go to work every day. I was talking to the governor the other day about it, and the biggest thing of course, it's affected us, but what has affected us even more is man, we've got a lot of rain. A lot of rain,
yes.
You know, and it looks like we're on course to be third wettest in history. Last year was number 2. But COVID-19 has affected your staff and producers. Let's talk about that just a minute.
Yeah, we are also working every day, but it's been a challenge. Since March, we've been in a maximum telework type scenario, meaning most employees have been working remotely. They've still been getting out in the field and using social distancing, of course, and other protective measures. Our primary concern is the safety for our employees, our partners, and our producers. But at the same time, we are working to make sure that we provide the customer service that's needed through the rest of this fiscal year and while we're in this COVID environment. We have moved to some gradual reopenings in some counties based on local data, but we're still in some pretty restricted modes. In a few offices, we are now to the point that we can take appointments in the offices, but that's exception rather than the rule.
So, but if somebody reaches out by phone, they'll get somebody.
That's right. We are manning the phones. Just make a call. And somebody should get back to you if they don't answer right away.
Okay. Well, Mike, I would like to thank you, and I'd like to thank your entire team and the entire team at NRCS for everything you do for the Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Appreciate everything you do.
Well, we certainly appreciate you as well. This is a great opportunity, and we're fortunate. We have great partners, and we have great producers. It's a great place to be.
The Arkansas farmers and ranchers are the greatest in the world.
That's right.
We'll see you next week on Arkansas Farm Talk.
Thank you for watching Arkansas Farm Talk, brought to you by Heritage Agriculture and these fine sponsors.